Good afternoon. Again, I see just a couple more people coming in from the waiting room. I'm Rachel Keegan. I oversee the admissions and enrollment at SYA. We're so glad that you've all been able to join us here for the SYA France admissions online reception, where we have some great guests here over that have dialed in from Rennes. The reason why this event is at 3 p.m. Eastern time. It's 9 o'clock over in France, and we really appreciate everyone staying up late there to join this great conversation we're going to have this afternoon. Before I introduce our guests, I do just want to let everyone know we've got a great program planned for you. We have our resident director, Mina Kadir, and some students will be presenting a lot of really helpful information. We will conclude the program with a question and answer session. So I encourage folks throughout the program to just type questions in the chat box, and we will get to those at the end of the program. Because it is so late over there, we will be wrapping this up within the hour. And before we get started, I just will introduce our participants, and then we'll have a short video. So we have our resident director, Madam Kadir. We have Jamie Mulcahy from San Francisco University High School. And we have Zoe Young, who is from Iolani in Hawaii, Iolani School, and we're really glad to have them. And then we have Claire Myers Mulcahy, who is Jamie's mother, who is dialing in from San Francisco. So we have almost the globe covered here in terms of time zones. And we really appreciate everyone being here today. So before Madam Kadir begins her conversation with our two students, we want to show you a short video of our program at SYA Rennes. So take it away.
Definitely SYA has opened my eyes to the world and how amazing living abroad is.
The stuff you learn in the classroom is not how they speak French in the real world, and I think that's something valuable you get from SYA. At some point, you really just start feeling like French is like a second language to you. Like, it's awesome.
It's a really beautiful city, like especially the middle of town, the Centre-Ville. I love just kind of walking in like the old part of the city and just hanging out with my friends.
I take the bus from my house in the morning, and then I take the Metro one stop, and there's a bunch of great bakeries, all the pastries, and that's something, the bread, oh, freshly baked, I'm gonna miss it.
For me, when I first got to Rennes, I was wowed by the architecture. Like, I would walk down the street and I was just like, no way, this is real life. I feel like from my classes, the city has come alive. I understand the history, the context of everything. It feels like the world is kind of like broadening.
Art history kind of helps us process what we're seeing and think about the history and kind of what we enjoy about Rennes and art. And I think we all have a shared love for art in our class and French.
Being at SYA, you have these moments that can be really hard, like having to go and speak to a stranger in French. You can see over the year you just getting better and better. Honestly, it really lifts you up, and I've honestly become much more confident in my ability to speak with others, not only in French, but also just in general.
There's so many different extracurriculars that you can do at SYA. You can do swimming, you can do rock climbing. I am a volleyball player.
If you're passionate about something and you want to continue something here, like, you can totally make that happen. For me, like with art, like I take the class and I do it outside of school, and it's really part of my habits that I've created here.
My host parents and my host sister are incredible. I've become really close to them, and I think my closeness with my host family has definitely shaped my SYA experience.
All the families at SYA who host are so incredibly welcoming and so incredibly just there to help you learn and invite you into their family.
You know, I was even confused. I didn't know if I wanted to leave my home for 9 months because, again, it's really intimidating. I will say from personal experience, it's been the best year of my life, but the independence and kind of the personal growth I've gained from being at SYA is something that I'll take with me for the rest of my life, for sure. It's all about, you know, taking that step, taking the leap of faith, and it pays off.
All right. Merci beaucoup. Bonsoir à toutes et à tous. Bienvenue. Welcome, everyone. It was really nice to see this video again. Actually, some of the students featured have already come back as alums. So you saw a glimpse of our beautiful city. SYA France has actually been in Rennes since 1967. so over half a century. Rennes is the capital of the Bretagne region on the west side of France. And we'll talk more about living in Rennes in a few minutes with two of our current students, Zoe and Jamie, who have kindly accepted to join us on this call. So actually, I will have them introduce themselves first. I'll start with Zoé. Zoé, si tu peux te présenter en français, s'il te plaît, et puis juste après faire la traduction en anglais.
Oui, bien sûr. Bonjour tout le monde, je m'appelle Zoé, j'ai 16 ans et je viens de Hawaï. Je suis une élève annuelle ici en France et j'ai en première, je suis en première. J'aime lire, dessiner, faire de la pâtisserie et j'aime aussi jouer au volleyball. Et j'ai continué toutes mes activités ici en France. So, hi everyone, my name is Zoe. I'm 16. I am a junior and I'm an annual student here in France. I enjoy reading, drawing, baking, and also playing volleyball. And all my activities, luckily, I've been able to continue here in France. Thank you.
Parfait, merci beaucoup Zoé. Jamie, si tu peux faire la même chose, s'il te plaît.
Ouais. Bonjour, je m'appelle Jamie. J'ai 17 ans, je suis en première. Je suis un élève annuel. Je viens de San Francisco, en Californie. Et je joue tennis souvent, même ici en France, à Saint-Grégoire. C'est mon activité extrascolaire. So my name is Jamie. Hello, everyone. I'm from San Francisco. I'm 17. I'm a junior, full year here. And my extracurricular is tennis, and I play over in a next door town called Saint Grégoire for my activity outside of school.
Parfait. Merci beaucoup à tous les deux. It's just really wonderful to hear our students move seamlessly almost between le français et l'anglais. We're now in January, so that's very rewarding. Thank you for that. So since we're talking about our students, we have two of our current students on the call. I just want to say that I have a lot of admiration and empathy for our young students. It really takes a special type of student to do this program. They make a choice of leaving behind the comfort of home and everything they know to embrace a new world and a new language. So I'm saying that because I really look at SYA as a place where education is not preparation for life, but life itself. So students who decide to do the program are those who are actually looking forward for the independence we offer, perspective taking, problem solving. That's a big one, and you'll hear from the students in a few minutes what that means. And of course, as I've mentioned before, and you heard them speak French, language acquisition. And I just want to add also that our students' experiences go beyond the new food, the customs, the traditions, and the architecture. I would say everything you saw in the video or what you see on social media, on our platforms, on the website. I just really want to emphasize that the students here are really immersed in the culture. They, after a few months, really acquire a deeper, more informed understanding of the world around them and their place in it. So that's very important to consider. It's really a gift you give them. So I think I said that it takes a very special type of student to do the program, but I also want to say that it takes a special kind of parents to let the child go so far away from home. So this serves as a transition to welcome Madam Myers, who's on the call with us tonight. Jamie's mom.
Mina?
You are yourself in the audience.
Mina? Mina seems to be cutting in and out with her. Can everyone else hear me? Yeah. Okay, good. I'll jump in a little until Mina's able to rejoin. So Zoe and Jamie, thank you again for being here. hopefully Mina is able to. It's kind of funny. Our Wi-Fi is generally very reliable. But would love you each to talk a little bit about um, the classes that you're taking, what our curriculum is like. Our curriculum has some core courses, and then there are opportunities for electives. And if you could talk just a little bit about the classes that you're taking, and let people know the courses that you're taking, why you chose to take them.
Yeah, I can start.
Great.
So like you said, there are some core courses that everyone here takes. Those would be English and math, which are the only two courses that are taught in English. And then we also have French language, which is like kind of your normal French in terms of grammar, vocabulary, oral exams, that kind of thing, as well as experiential French, which I think we'll touch on later. But that's more of a outside of the classroom class. We actually did a big field trip today, which was part of that class. So those are the four core. And then we have two, what are they called, electives. And so you get to choose during during your application, you kind of rank these four electives from your top choice to your fourth choice. So personally, I take political science and French cinema, um, which are both two great classes with two great teachers that I really enjoy.
And I can touch more upon the experiential French program, and it's very different from your typical French class, like your French textbook course, kind of. And instead, it's more focused on doing these outings. So we'll have the class 3 times a week, and it's Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And Tuesday is when teachers tend to give more background or history upon what we'll to be doing before the outing, which is on Thursday. And Thursday is the field trip, and that's where we'll go out and immerse ourselves in the French culture and mostly like probably we'll talk to locals and just learn more about discover France in total. And then Friday is when we do our reflection. So that's typically orally based, or it can also be writing activity. And one of my favorite experiential French days were when we went to Lagacy, and it was this really cool outdoor photo exhibition. And we basically just got to walk around like in nature, and there were like all these different photos and through this path that you can go on all these different photos on either side of different pictures from the world. And the task at hand was to like find one that resonated most with you. And then for Friday, this was due on Friday, you had to create a little description about what it is and like how you resonate with it. But that was one of my favorite ones, and we'll have many more activities to come that I'm looking forward to.
Okay, I apologize for my internet connection. It's been raining a lot here in Rennes, so we've had issues all day long. So hopefully I'm back and you can hear me. I was about to ask a question to Madame Myers, so la maman de Jamie. So I'm not sure if you heard my questions. I'll just repeat it quickly. If you could introduce yourself and please and share your experience as a parent observing Jamie here from afar, and also how the program maybe unfolded from the time you watched this webinar last year and between September and 9 and now.
Thank you, Mina, and hello, everybody. Yes, a year ago, I was on this same video Zoom, looking with a lot of curiosity at that video to try and capture every little detail I could of what the experience might be like. And um, I have to say, it has unfolded beautifully. Jamie had his fair share of nerves about how it would go. There's no way of knowing what it's going to be like before you start an adventure like this, but it is, I guess, the spirit of adventure is what is something that SYA really encourages, because you're really welcomed by not just a great host family, because all the families who sign up for SYA are committed to making a great experience for these students, but also you're received by a wonderful program. I can't say enough good things about Madame Kadir and her staff, and just the normal ups and downs of getting used to a new experience are part of it. sort of September, October, all the good, all the bad, all the in between. And then it just kind of moves along. It has its own like vivacious force, life force with all the trips they do, the experiences they take the kids on. They're given enough time to settle into Ren, but then they're also, whisked away to interesting field trips that, increase with length of time, maybe a day trip or then maybe a whole week. I think they went to Bordeaux for a week. Anyway, as a parent, just seeing the photos on the webs on the shared portal, but also just hearing from Jamie and also not hearing from Jamie shows me that he's, um, you know, um, finding his way and spreading his wings. And it's just been great. And I've loved all the kids that I've met through Jamie, just either on a WhatsApp call or hearing about them. And they all are having different experiences, but it's really cool watching them form their own class because really they're basically all juniors and they're coming from all different schools across North America. And those social dynamics are really strengthening as well because they're all going through the same experience in their own unique ways.
Parfait, merci beaucoup. Thank you. And appreciate the partnership. It's very important for us. It's important in any school, but I would say even more so at SYA since parents are very far away and students are abroad. We're really counting on that partnership with you to make sure that the program goes well for the students. So the students talked about their classes, but I just wanted to say that right now we do have students on the ground. The class is composed of 31 students, 19 are annual students and 12 are semester students. We had fall semester students and now spring semester students. They actually arrived about 2 weeks ago, the spring semester students, and they were welcomed by our annual students.
All right. Looks like Mina's Wi-Fi is out again. So I will jump in here. So she talked about how the spring semester students, they've been getting adjusted. They arrived in the first week of January and they joined the year-long students for into their classes and things. So there's an adjustment period for them, but then they get adjusted and they join the classes with the students who are there for the year. See if she's back. I don't think so. Mina, you're back?
Yes, I am. I apologize. Okay. I've been on my 5G. I'm not sure what's happening in our neighborhood. I apologize if this happens again. Been doing this for 5 years. This is the first time that we have these issues like this one. Apologies again. So I was just, I'll speak fast then, I guess, in case I get cut off again. The students were in Nantes today and on field study. Since Zoe touched base on that experiential French class. They're all looking forward to our 5-day academic trip in February, which will take us to Paris. And although we've mentioned trips quite a bit and outings, which are for sure an extension of our educational program, I would like to say that the majority of school life and learning occurs within the four walls of the school. So you might wonder what school looks like on a day-to-day basis here. So students take 6 courses. And again, I apologize if that was said already. 2 of those courses are elective courses. We offer politics, science, art history, and cinema. All of the elective courses are taught in the target language, so in French. In addition to the 2 electives, students take 4 mandatory classes, English, mathematics, French language, and experiential French. And I think that was explained pretty well by Zoe earlier. It's a very unique class. We actually call it our signature field study class here at SYA. Meaning that every other week the students go out and complete a mission for the school using the language in authentic situations. And we really try to use or local resources for them to do that. So today was not, for instance, and I think a few field studies were mentioned by the students. I think the students also mentioned the elective classes, so I'll skip that portion. And just to tie it back to the parents' experience, so Madam Myers, I don't know if you could speak a little bit about that and tell us like what type of growth maybe you have observed in Jamie, maybe linked to this class, but overall to the with the experience so far in terms of, I'm really talking about in terms of intercultural competencies, resiliency, because it's not an easy program, or independence.
Yes. So I think the experience of SYA, the key word is immersion. And so kind of using that as a foundation for responding to the question that Madame Kadir had of how I see Jamie engaging in the experiential aspect of it. It's, first of all, everything is experiential from where he's living, the family that he's living with, and how he speaks French to his French siblings, and how he goes away for the weekend with his French family, and just everything that's involved with the ins and outs of that, whether it's with the French language itself, but also remembering the manners we've taught him at home or the manners that are appropriate in the new culture and picking up on things that, without his parents around and without learning how to navigate school in French, but also a different school than his home school and all the rules and privileges that go with that and forms they have to fill out or responsibilities that everyone has to learn. I mean, I still learn them when I get a new job or when the experiential aspect, I think, is really part of the immersion component of SYA. And then, of course, all of the electives and the field trips and the experience of being able to go to Paris for the day with his friends without, when they have earned that privilege. It's really more than just what you can imagine before you go. There are so many aspects of the learning that happens even beyond the French language.
Très bien, merci beaucoup. So I'll switch topics. So we talked about classes. I would like to also talk about another very important pillar of the program, which is the homestay. So all prospective host families are interviewed and background checked by our dedicated host family coordinator, Monsieur Thirion, who does not only do the best possible placements based on the information you provide us, but also provides ongoing guidance and orientation to both the host families and the students throughout the year. So it's very obvious, I think, and I will emphasize it, but that the homestay is a key part of the student's journey here and overall experience. And I say that because it provides students a mean to develop their language proficiency. And I really look at it as an extension of what we do here at school, but also an understanding of the culture that completes our academic program. So we're very thankful to have a wide range of host families. They're all very different. They live in different parts of the city. They come in different shapes and sizes, but they all have in common a sincere desire to have an American student live with them, share their home and their life. So we also expect in return from our students to really be actively engaged, involved in the life of the host family. And we ask simple things that are oftentimes at the very beginning of the program difficult for them, but sharing their day with the host family in the target language at the dinner table, for instance, doing activities with them during the weekend, asking questions, and just being curious overall about their new country, their new host family, and the new culture. So the homestay experience is is not a dorm experience, I would say. It's not a room that we're renting. It's really something important and part of the program. And I think that both Zoe and Jamie would attest to this. But they've seen throughout semester one a lot of alumni come back, visit us, come back to the school, but also stay with the host families. I think it speaks very much about this very special bond between our students and their families here. I think the students can illustrate that. I'll start with Zoé. Zoé, si tu peux parler de ta famille d'accueil, s'il te plaît, un petit peu, enfin, si tu as des frères et des sœurs d'accueil, où est-ce que tu habites, la distance et comment ça s'est passé pour toi?
Mhm. Yes, I love my host family so much, and I will say in the beginning, it was definitely difficult just to kind of figure how my like get myself sorted in that environment because in my American family, I have three younger siblings, which I think a lot of you can imagine is a very chaotic household. So coming into my host family, where it was just the two parents, just my host dad and my host mom, was a very different kind of atmosphere than I was used to. They do have two kids or two daughters, and I've met them multiple times, but they don't live in the house anymore. So I definitely say that took a while getting used to. But I think being observant was the biggest thing that I've like started to do, and that's been the most helpful. Just kind of like realizing like their like what they do, their daily routines, and sometimes they'll tell you, but it's also helpful just to kind of realize. And once you start incorporating that into your routine, you start to feel both your host family and yourself will feel more comfortable in the experience. So, for example, my host mom like loves all these different little lamps and like things around the house, so and she likes them on when before she comes home, so turning that on and like setting the table, little things like that makes the experience better for both of us. I do live about 30 minutes from the school in Saint-Jacques-Été, and so it's not too bad. My commute in the morning is a short bus ride and then the metro. And I've learned to enjoy that also because it's kind of my time just to reflect on what's going on, what's going to happen in the day, and just listen to music. So yeah, that's been really nice so far.
Merci beaucoup. Jamie, la même question par rapport à ta famille d'accueil?
Yeah. So kind of going and coming the exact opposite of what Zoe was saying. I have only one brother at home, one older brother. But here I have three younger brothers. So it's been kind of a big switch, but in the opposite direction for me. Um, so I have three younger brothers. They are 9, 11, and 13. So obviously they're all in the house with me. So there's four boys running around the house all the time, which has been something really cool because I was always kind of the younger brother in my family, and now it's kind of been a big switch being this older brother with some some responsibility to keep them on task or make them do their homework or get in the shower or whatever. Um, and on top of that, I think I have one of the easiest commutes. I walk just about 10 minutes and I'm at school. So that's something that is really, really awesome because I sleep in pretty late on the weekdays. So it's nice to get up late. My family's really into rugby, really sporty family. All the kids play rugby. The dad's a rugby coach. So we're always watching rugby, soccer as well. A lot of sports, which is something I'm really into too. So those match up really well. And yeah, I think I really won a lottery with my family. I like them a lot.
Parfait. Merci beaucoup. Madam Myers, can you share perhaps about your apprehensions, if any, in the beginning of the year, seeing Jamie move into a new home and maybe speak to the relationships that Jamie has formed with his host family members?
Yes, at this point, I think that it's a good time to share that I have another son who did SYA Spain 2 years ago. And I think you were going to mention that, Madame Kadir, when the internet crashed the first time. But so I've actually had two children participate in two different programs. And so I just wanted to answer the question with that premise because the Spain in Zaragoza, my son who did that 2 years ago, that Spanish family is coming this summer to California to stay with us. And um, I just wanted to share that because obviously that experience was great as well. And in Jamie's case this year in France, you know, we had no idea. I mean, just because he had a brother who did the program in Spain, it didn't make any difference at all to the apprehension and the feeling of risk taking that was real for Jamie. Um, I have to say, as a parent, I kind of knew it would be okay no matter what because I know SYA, it's such a great program. It vets its families. Um, we've had people stay with us at our house, so I kind of felt an affinity for the program already as being the kind of family who would host a student and feel open to that and able to do that. So I trusted a little bit more than Jamie could as a 17-year-old. But it was, um, you heard how he said he feels like he won the lottery, and that's such a great thing to be able to say. But it wasn't apparent immediately. It happens no matter what, even if you end up feeling, and I think many kids do, that they won the lottery with their host family. In the beginning, it's just like Zoe was saying, it's a lot of observation, it's a lot of um, how do I behave? A little bit of feeling self-conscious in areas that you didn't know you could feel self-conscious in because you've never had that experience before. But that's kind of what I mean, that it's part of the whole SYA immersive experience. So just trusting, I suppose, that it would work itself out. And I'm so glad it's worked out very well for Jamie. And it worked out very well for my other son, who had a completely different family structure and a 45-minute commute to school. But it was fantastic. And he ended up, because of his long commute, this is in Spain, discovering rock climbing. And he's a huge rock climbing fan now. I mean, he discovered rock climbing in Spain because instead of waiting for the bus, he decided to explore this, you know, place. He didn't even know what it was. Ended up being a rock climbing gym. And now he's a big rock climber. So it's just that stance, that m- open mind stance that I think is wins out in the end with everything, but including the host family experience. And Jamie's family in France is fantastic. They're very special, and they've been really communicative and really respectful that I'm still the parent. You know, we go back and forth about um, just ideas about travel or responsibilities. But so there's plenty of communication, um, but also he feels that he has a very special and independent relationship with them, which is great.
Merci. Thank you. And I was going to mention Jamie's older brother, but the Wi-Fi, it's been experiential for me tonight on the call. But that's what we do. We're okay. So thank you so much for that. So now a few words about co-curriculars. So we talked about classes, we talked about the homestay. So our students also participate in an activity outside of school, and we're fortunate to have to be in a big city where most activities are offered. So the students will talk about theirs, but I can give a few examples. Dance, soccer, sort of football, music, art, gymnastics, rock climbing, as you mentioned, and the list goes on. So all activities in France are detached from school. I think that's something important to know. It doesn't happen on school grounds. The activities are offered by private or city clubs or associations. So we do have an activity coordinator on campus who helps the students find an activity. Typically, students choose the activity in September. And we actually have a field study dedicated to that during our immersion unit the first week of school in September. It is a school requirement for annual students. We also very much encourage our semester students to participate in an activity outside of school, for them to be outside of the building, not to be in that bubble all the time, and to connect with local French students their age. Jamie, est-ce que tu peux parler de ton activité, s'il te plaît?
Yes. So as I said earlier, I play tennis here. I played tennis back home in San Francisco, and I was really, I mean, I really wanted to continue it in France and not take 9 months off practicing. I remember I got in touch with Adam Bortra, who's the activities director here back home in San Francisco, and I had already been researching clubs, and what my commute would be like to these theoretical clubs and all that. So I was really excited to start tennis here, and so when I got here, I settled in, and actually in my first week, practice had started. So I remember going there. It's about a 20-minute bus ride, 25-minute bus ride from my house to a neighboring town called Saint-Grégoire. It's a really top tennis facility. There's about like 11 courts. It's really nice. So I go there a couple times a week for a scheduled practice, like a clinic with a bunch of kids my age. We'll play for an hour and a half, do drills with coaches and that sort of thing. And then on top of that, that's definitely the place where I've made most of my French friends, which is something that my host family always pushes me to do. They're always saying how my experience will be elevated 10 times more if I get a French friend group. Um, and I think they're really spot on with that. So I was able to meet a lot of kids through the clinic. So I'll go there more times a week than just when the clinic because one of these kids will invite me to play like on a weekend. So I'll just take my rackets on a Saturday and take the bus over and just play with a friend or play a doubles match or whatever. But then also through meeting these kids, I've been able to hang out with them outside of school. Go out on the weekends, have dinner and whatnot. So that's kind of the separate aspect. There's the aspect of being able to do the activity that I like to do. But I think for a lot of us with our extrascolaire, I forget the word in English, um, extracurricular, um, there's the aspect of us doing what we like to do, but also the ability to meet other people, other French kids that we wouldn't normally have the chance to do otherwise.
Très bien, merci. Tu as très très bien expliqué. Zoé, si tu peux aussi parler des activités, mais peut-être aussi mentionner les clubs à l'école.
Yes. So I do volleyball here, and kind of like what Jamie was talking about, I did research clubs ahead of time with Madame Borchard. She's also the French teacher here at the school, just to kind of look ahead a little bit because, as Madame Kadir was also saying, that the sports and like all those activities are not connected to the school, and you have to search for them outside of school, and which of course there's like a lot of aid and help for everything with that. But speaking specifically with the clubs offered at the school. There's a lot, and I'm part of three of them, and they're primarily student led. So I'm in a yearbook club, and that's exactly what it sounds like. Is we create the school's yearbook, and it's so much fun to kind of look over the pictures from the year and put everything together with monthly summaries of what we did. And it's just a really good reflection and a way to bond with the teachers and other students. I'm also part of the Spirit Committee, which is probably the biggest club at the school. A lot of people are part of it. And basically, we kind of plan and organize the school's events. So, for example, we had the red carpet event, and that was like a school dance where everyone could dress up, and we hosted a dance at the school with music and food and everything. And we also have Spirit Week, which you were probably familiar with at some of your home schools. But it's just like the day you can dress up, different days of the week you dress up and do different activities. So there's things like that, which students will organize themselves, but also the student life coordinator, Chris, helps a lot with everything. There's also the tutoring club, which is the most recent one, and we'll have French students come outside from school and like from local French high schools, and we'll teach them English. And it's not necessarily helping them with their homework or anything, but more so engaging in a conversation and just kind of examining or like different, like comparing different cultures in a way. There's also different clubs, like I think we might have a running club and the newspaper committee or newspaper club, and yeah, it's different, all sorts of clubs that you can join over here. And yes, they are more student led, but it's such a great way to make bonds and like learn who different people are in the staff and within the community.
Parfait, merci beaucoup. So I switched topics again, and we'll talk a bit about maybe how is it to live in Rennes. So, as mentioned earlier, Rennes is the capital of the Bretagne region. It's actually labeled as an art and history city. It's a very old city. It goes back 2,000 years. It has preserved medieval houses and classical heritage through the architecture. But at the same time, it's a very young city if you're looking at its demographics. There are many, many colleges and universities in the city. It makes it a very fun city. It's also very unique because it's both large but very pedestrian also. And the students tend to enjoy that. They can walk to a lot of places. It's also quick access to the countryside and forest, which are the foot of the city, and the sea is not too far. We're about 45 minutes from Saint-Malo and Dinard, which students often visit early in the year with their host families. We also have a field study in Dinard. We have an exchange with a high school there. They also went to Saint-Malo with the Spirit Committee that Zoe was mentioning earlier. We're also pretty close to Paris. Madame Myers was saying like going to Paris for a day is possible. It is with a TGV. It's a nice city, and its quality of living is pretty high. Aside from, of course, the libraries and the sport facilities, the museums, and the parks, and of course there are cafes everywhere and boulangerie. It's a pretty safe city for our students. So if we could have one of you speak to that as far as safety around here, et peut-être aussi ce que vous faites après l'école, les endroits où vous allez avec vos copains, copines, le soir après l'école et pendant les week-ends aussi. Et ça peut être tous les deux, hein, si vous voulez tous les deux répondre à la question, pas de problème.
Yeah, I can start it off, and then so we can finish. Yeah, when it comes to safety, I really don't feel any sort of fear at all at nighttime and daytime. I always feel really secure. Coming from a big city in San Francisco, I obviously kind of had an idea about what what it felt like to like maybe going through like a big downtown, during night and stranger danger. And so I wasn't like new to that idea. But being in Rennes, everyone there's really not much danger at all, at least in my experience. I've been out, on nights out going through the streets. Everyone's very welcoming, and there's a lot of smiles, and I've never experienced anything um not unsafe, and I've never actually seen anything done to another person that's unsafe. So just from my own two eyes, I can say that it's been pretty safe. And then when it comes to going places after school, kind of the big one that everyone knows, and everyone all roads leads to Saint Anne. Saint Anne is kind of this big square where it has a bunch of restaurants, cafes, has this big church in the middle that people love to sit on these steps that surround it. And the metro stop is right there. So after school, we kind of go to St. Anne and then kind of diverge off from there. But that's kind of a big meeting point for SYA kids.
Merci beaucoup, Jamie. Zoé, si tu peux continuer un petit peu et parler peut-être du fait qu'on explique beaucoup les règles à l'école et peut-être aussi mentionner le fait que on a eu des officiers de police, par exemple, qui sont venus vous parler de sécurité et puis la sécurité aussi pendant les voyages quand on est parti à Bordeaux, etc. Et comment l'école fonctionne.
Yes. So there are different curfews set in place. So on a typical school week or like a weekend night, the curfew is you can choose either Friday or Saturday night to be out until 12. And then the other night that you don't stay out till 12 is, I believe, 9. Yeah, 9 p.m. So yeah, those are the curfews set in place. And specifically with me, my friends, like what Jamie was talking about, Saint Anne is definitely a popular place to go for dinner and just to talk and kind of explore the town and do shopping and all of that. And like you said, it's very safe town. And I'm like not I'm I've been to Honolulu, which is like the major city in Hawaii, but it's like definitely smaller, and I'm not really used to taking public transport. So that in the beginning was definitely a little new to me, but after that, I got used to it pretty quickly. And then in terms of independent travel and school trips, like in Bordeaux, the rule is so we'll be given like free time after the activities, like the itinerary the school has set in place, like visiting a museum during like the afternoon or something like that, and then you'll have the night free. So you can grab dinner with your friends, and then the rule is you have to be back in your hotel room by 10 p.m. So yeah, so those are the rules and regulations the school sets in place just to establish everyone's safety and make sure everyone's good. And yeah, and all the students will follow that because we take safety here very seriously. And I yeah, never had any problems in Rennes so far.
Merci beaucoup. Okay, it's 9:47. I think we can open up for questions, Madam Keegan-Kelly.
Yeah, thank you both. Thank you all. I mean, I just love hearing the French. Yours too, Madam Kadir's, but Jamie and Zoe, your French is really beautiful, and it's a beautiful language, but it's great to hear it. And you can hear those of you on the call can just hear this is just halfway through the experience. So you can imagine after a full year what kind of language ability our students do return home with. So there's been a lot of questions in the chat box, and you can see our extended team has been busy answering them. But I did want to highlight just a handful of them that I think might be helpful to touch base on before we wrap this call up at the hour. One question that has come out is homework. And I wondered, Jamie and Zoe, really briefly, if you could talk about what the homework load is like.
Yeah, I just answered that in a chat, so it's kind of fresh on my mind. It's very manageable. Me and Zoe, we have a free every day, which is 45 minutes. So if you use your time productively during that free, you you often have very little and sometimes none. I mean, tonight when I got back, I was just killing time until this meeting because I didn't have much homework for tomorrow, for example. So from day to day, it's I mean an hour to never too much because they know you're meant to spend time with your host family and they take that into account when they're assigning work.
And I would say too, thanks, Jamie, that homework is defined in many different ways. And some of the work that's done at home with your host family is homework. And you're learning the language and you're spending time with your host family. And there's a whole cultural language homework that just sort of happens as part of the experience. So I think we have two different kinds of homework maybe at SYA. But thanks for the more traditional, how much time do you need to log on your computer and doing assignments that have been assigned. Zoe, homework for you?
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely a rigorous academic environment here, like which is what I wanted because it's like kind of what I practiced in my old school. So that's been great. But like I said, or like what Jamie was saying, that there's definitely like other priorities that SY has set in place, like going home and being able to have a full discussion with your host family in French and like talk about your day. And that is like in like homework within itself because you're almost like I don't know, you have to like think you're like tired from a full day of school and you're coming home and speaking more French. Like it's definitely a lot in the beginning, but I feel like you'll get used to it. So homework would just put like so much like bigger of a load on top of all of that and on top of like extracurriculars and engaging within the school community, like different clubs. So there's definitely homework, but it's not like a crazy amount.
Okay, great. Thank you. Another couple of questions that kind of came up was about sort of the makeup of the school, the number of students, the semester versus full year. I want to address that just a little bit. The ratio of full year to semester students varies from year to year based on the application pool and those that are interested and are qualified for the program. We've started our semester program about 5 years ago. Those semester students work very closely and are well integrated into the year-long program. Some students, we have a group that comes in the fall with the full year students. They leave at the holiday time, and then a second semester group arrives in January and joins the year-long students. So there's some often questions around what's preferable, fall or spring or full year. We have 3 options. It's up to families to choose. We're happy to have more in-depth personal conversations with you if you'd like to talk about it. But our general feeling is obviously your culture and language immersion is going to be more profound if you're with us for the year. And we have 2-year-long students with us on this call. But we do have students who do come for the fall and the spring and have really positive experiences. So we wanted to sort of address that. The other thing is around the number of students in the school. So we're our own school in our own building with our own faculty, and the students take all of their classes with us. And this particular year, our numbers are a little bit smaller in the 30s, but generally our numbers are a little bit more than that as a school. In the 40s, say, it really depends on the year. And I would say that the ratio of semester to full year is a majority full year students, but we have really robust semester classes as well. The other question that sort of came was French level. And I think you've heard some pretty beautiful French on this call, but our students come at varying levels of French. For next year, the minimum level, you need to have taken 1 year of French. But we have students who've had significant years of French. They're given placements test and put into the level that's appropriate for them. There is a wide range of students who come with a wide range of French ability. And again, we're happy to have conversations with you around that if you want to have follow-up conversations. Another question that came through was about academic and emotional support. And I will ask Madam Kadir to sort of address this, but before I do want to share that because the program is on the smaller side, there is a tremendous amount of support just in the nature and structure of our school. Students have a host family, they have an advisor, they have a resident director, there's a student life coordinator. There are faculty who know them very well from the day of the program. In fact, at the beginning of this call, I was talking with Madam Kadir about just how close all of the students and the faculty are this year. And so when you define structure of academic and emotional support, it comes in a lot of different ways, but a lot of it is through the community itself. But Madam Kadir, I don't know if you want to share something more about that.
Sure. So I would say that we really start off the program with a robust immersion and orientation unit. It's very much targeted upon arrival, and we really focus on academic expectations and safety rules. So safety being top of mind for me here at all times. So we make sure that the students understand how we function and how to function and navigate their new environment. So whether it's the commute, safety in hand, the school routines and schedules, community norms, and it's a very tight group usually. And I'm surrounded by faculty and staff here. The team is really great. They all very much care about the students. Most of the teachers here are advisors. So we do have an advisory program where the students meet in small groups. There are also individual meetings with the advisees. So we keep a very, very close eye. And I think Jamie and Zoe would tell you, I mean, we know a lot about what they do. Not that we're policing them around or patrolling the city to look for them, but they know that they can come to us and talk to us. So we share a lot with them. They share a lot with us. And I think there is really mutual respect between the students and the adults around here. So it really contributes to having a great community. Now we also work with the Truman Group if a student needs extra help and needs to talk to a therapist, somebody that they want to confide in, we can pair them with a therapist. We've been working with the Truman Group for the past 9-10 years, and they also get an introduction to that service during the immersion program. I don't know if Jamie and Zoe, you want to add anything to reassure parents and students who are listening right now?
Did you ask Amy or did you ask Jamie? Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Zoe,
sorry.
do you want to take it or?
Oh, just in general,
Go ahead.
just in general, like reassure parents or yeah. So I think SYA in total has just been such a great opportunity, and I'm so glad that I've taken it. I will say, like, initially when I was deciding whether I should go or not, it was more of my parents pushing me, which I feel like is a bit opposite. Because my parents do live in Germany, so me being in France would be me being closer to them. But I was just worried about, like, because I am a junior, like going through that college process and making sure that I don't miss any of those important like college steps. But I will say that SY has like there's a very concrete process for college applications, and they support you through all of that. Like I am, we do have a SAT testing site, like we are one. So I'm signed to take the SAT in March and May, and I'm also taking 4 APs, and that's like all covered. And we also our college liaison is Madam Connolly, and she's also the English teacher, and we've already started doing meetings on that. So I think that was my major concern in the beginning, but I will say like there's a system set in place, so there's definitely no worries on that front. I'm really glad that I decided to take this opportunity.
Yeah, merci beaucoup, Zoe. I did not mention that, but it's important to say that I think some parents worry about this, but students do have access here to a college liaison, so Madame Conley, who understands both the US college system, admission system, and the unique context of a year abroad. And juniors meet with her multiple times if needed. And the support includes building college list, refining the college list. They actually spent a week on their personal statement early January, brainstorming. So that's something we don't think about because it's here all the time, but it's true that it's some parents.
Well, thank you, Madam Kadir. We're coming very close up on the hour. There was one question I would like you to touch on, though, about travel, independent travel for our students and what the option is. And it really is a privilege that is earned throughout the year, but a couple of parents have asked about it. So if you could just touch base on that, that would be great.
Sure. So independent travel happens a bit later on. So it is a privilege, not a right. So they have to earn it. We have to make sure that they've been at school on time. So attendance is very serious here. The students on this call know this. Attendance, curfew, just following the rules because the rules keep them safe. Making sure that they're on good academic standing is very important. So when all of that is assembled, there is a independent travel calendar that opens up. So for instance, right now they received a calendar between now and the end of February. So some weekends open up. So we typically start with day travel. I usually do it gradually. So I want to make sure they're okay to travel somewhere for the day. So go somewhere, be safe, and come back here to Rennes on time. And then we open up weekend travel. During the longer breaks, they can travel multiple nights. So there is a process around it. There are a lot of forms. It's a lot of fun and it's a lot of learning. They find out very quickly that it's a very difficult practice to actually book the hotel, the TGVs, and sort of collaborate with their friends. But it's a great learning experience when they can do that. So as far as destinations, again, they go close by in the beginning because it would be day travel, and then after that they go to other cities. Now it's international. Independent travel is not allowed, so it would have to happen within our borders. And the reason is because it is part of a mission for them to be immersed in France, in the French language. So they're allowed to travel in France.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. This has been an extremely active chat, and I really thank all of the parents and students for asking all their questions. If we didn't get to your question, please reach out to us in admissions. Again, we want to continue the conversation with you through the process. We are coming up on the hour and it's 10 o'clock there, and we do need to let our guests go. But I did want to thank them tremendously for all of their time and their great stories and their great contributions to this program. Reminders, application deadline is February 12th. Decisions will go out the first week of March, and we will have more opportunities like this to gather in the coming months where there's more opportunity to connect in a more formal Zoom forum, but we are also happy to connect you all with parents who've been through the program or other students if you have specific questions. So please don't hesitate to reach out to our office. We're available all the time. And again, we look forward to reading your applications in the coming weeks. But mostly thank you to Zoe and Jamie and Claire and Madame Kadir for their participation today.